Hello, I'm here to tell you whether I should have made a crochet business or not. Not really. I'm really here to tell you my statistics, my stats, run the numbers for my crochet business, Luxe Loop Studio, that I started this year. I thought Q1 would be good because I did start this business in the middle of January technically, although really the end of January. I'm doing this for all the nosy people out there like me because I love being all up in people's business. I just love transparency. I just love being nosy. I love to know what's going on. So I'm offering that. Give and you shall receive. So we are going to start with my Etsy dashboard / stats. This is what that looks like. It gives you all the top numbers that you might want to know. I have had 680 visits from January to March. The dates that I put in are January 14th to March 31st. So that's the first quarter for my business. So I've had 680 visits, 10 orders. Conversion rate is 1.5%, which is how many visitors actually order. And then I have made $156.72, which, if we do some math right now, works out to be about $52 a month, which isn't terrible, I think, for a business that I just made up out of the blue. However, it doesn't actually work like that. I didn't actually sell anything in the month of March. To get further into the stats, well, it shows you shopper stats. I got 25 item favorites, which according to this means 18 shoppers favorited 7 of your items. So that means all the favorites were these 7 things. I think that's how that works. 16 follows, that's just number of people followed my shop. I got 3 reviews in the first quarter, 1 repeat buyer, and I reached 8 cities. So I think that's interesting. I'll say, yeah, that was helpful. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, next we have traffic to my Etsy store. Etsy brought in 19% of visits. I brought 81% of visits. This is something I really want to work on because I know that the direct and other traffic, most of it is probably from this YouTube channel, which isn't a terrible problem, but I think I'm mostly bringing in people who already know how to crochet, which isn't my direct audience. It's becoming my direct audience because I am releasing patterns, but I am selling goods that are already made for the most part. So I need people who can't make them or wouldn't want to make them for whatever reason. Social media specifically, 9 came from Instagram. I do have an Instagram for this. I need to get better about posting on it. 22 are from Pinterest, which I find interesting because I don't have a Pinterest for this account. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know if someone else is like reposting stuff I have onto Pinterest, which is a possibility, but I have no idea what's going on Pinterest. This kind of makes me want to maybe make a Pinterest, but I can't even keep up with Instagram, so I'm not sure. Let me know what you think down below if you have a Pinterest for your business. Oh, and also since we're talking about what I brought in, the link I have in the description box down below is my share and save link, which is how Etsy tracks whether you brought in traffic or not if someone comes through that link. So I got 614 clicks, remember, I got 680 visits, so that tracks with 81% of visits and 7 orders from that. It brought in half the revenue because one of my orders was very large. It was the other half basically. And I saved $3.40. Etsy refunds me 4% of the order for traffic that I brought, so that's why it says I saved $3.45. I don't run Etsy ads. I don't think that's a good idea for me right now since I really want to work on this part, which is Etsy brought 19% of visits, so I need to get better. I'm still working on my SEO, so I need to work harder on that, I think. So we can see Etsy app and other pages. This is just anywhere on Etsy if people visit my listing after favoriting it, I think, or they're on the Etsy app. 13% of my traffic visits is this. In January, I got 0 visits because I made those 4 new listings on January 31st or the 30th. In February, I got 68 visits, and in March, I got 46. This is all only for the Etsy webpage, basically, not traffic I brought. The majority of the listings that people wanted to see was the bow keychain, which is good, but I would like people to buy them. We can look further into the bow keychain. Etsy's telling me to make the item description longer, which maybe I should, I don't know. Currently I have listed 21 in stock. Basically, I think I have 2 of each color and each size in stock, and I have updated the colors because I thought maybe the reason it was getting more traffic and people weren't buying was because I didn't have a color they wanted or something. So I tried that. I haven't updated the pictures with the colors though, so maybe that's not helping as much as I would like it to. But anyway, These bows bought me $20.72 in revenue. I've sold 4. So this is my most popular listing, my most popular item. I mean, I think they're really cute. I love a bow. I kept one for myself. It's on my bag. Next, we have Etsy search. You can see I got the most 13 listings from Etsy search in February and 10 in March. But the most popular search is Luxe Loop Studio, which is likely people coming from this channel or my Instagram or maybe my TikTok, because I do post there, but not as much business stuff, but I have it linked. I have the name of it in my about on TikTok. So those are people searching on Etsy for my shop, which means they had to have known about it already, which is likely from social media, actually. Luxe Loop Studio with a space. This is in Spanish for some reason. I don't really know. I think this just means, let's Google. Yeah, hand knitted crochet coasters. Oh, so that's good actually, because that's what I made. And then like one visit for like a bunch of stuff. There were like a decent number of holiday items being searched for me. I mean, one visit per item isn't a ton, but it was showing up for those searches and people were visiting, but for whatever reason they didn't buy. I don't know why. I wish I could survey those people. If you have any ideas, if you take a look at my shop and you're like, here's why I think people didn't buy, you're welcome to leave a comment down below. I am always looking for feedback. The last traffic section we'll talk about is Etsy marketing and SEO. I think it's Etsy putting ads on other websites, on search engines, with your listing. I really didn't get enough traffic, I think, to even have search terms. Also, I think it's harder for Etsy to have the search terms when it's from a third party. I got 6 visits in February, 8 in March. This one I'm not really concerned with. It is what it is. It doesn't matter to me. I'm more concerned with getting traffic from Etsy, because if I'm bringing in all the visits, then it does call into question whether I should even be on Etsy or start my own website. I'm not starting my own website for a while at least. But like all the fees and stuff I give to Etsy is so that they can like market my stuff for me. So looking at my listings, which we can see here, my most popular overall listing is the hair scrunchies, which I suspected, which is why I was making them. I thought that this was something people would want. So far I've gotten 3 orders and made $16.45 from velvet hair scrunchies. I don't think this page takes me to anything. Oh, I guess it does. Here are some charts if we want to look at the charts, I guess. Nothing really that interesting, I think, here. Next, we have the bow keychains. Overall, I got 71 views and it's made me $20.72, which I already talked about. And it also has the most favorites, followed by the velvet hair scrunchies. Let's just find out. Oh, just kidding. Followed by the Easter bunny keychains. We'll get back to that. We're doing by views. Also the heart-shaped bookmark. Technically I got 3 orders. We got the heart-shaped coasters, which got 43 views. I got 1 order. Also with the cherry keychain, 41 views, 2 orders. Actually, I think that's pretty good. Okay, then we're getting into all the stuff that hardly anyone ordered, except for these, which got 17 views, but 12 orders. And that's what I was talking about before, where if one person orders more than 1 item from you at the same time, it still counts as a separate order for Etsy's count or whatever. I mentioned this in the last studio vlog. One person ordered all of the Easter bunny keychains that I had. That was 12 orders. And I mean, it was great for revenue, great for my order number and everything like that. But I didn't get any additional orders in March. And this was kind of the last day of February. It shows up as the first day of March, but I think it was like in the middle of the night. Back to these. The rest of my Easter stuff did not sell. I don't know why. I ended up making a separate listing because I wasn't sure if maybe people didn't want keychains. And so I made this like desk buddy one, which is the same toy, but just no keychain. But that didn't do anything. And then everything else is newer. This was my first custom order. This was that repeat order, this lavender keychain with no picture. And then I made a real listing for other people to buy lavender keychains, available in my shop right now. All the rest of this stuff, the listings were made in April, so they just show up. But obviously nobody could order it. Nobody could view it in March or February or January. So that's why it's like that. So those are basically all the stats that Etsy gives. What I have learned and been learning is that I really want to work on SEO, which we'll talk about in a second, because I really want Etsy to bring me more visits. Basically, I would like to see this to be 50-50 because I'm paying Etsy, you know, specifically so that they will bring me traffic. Now we're going to get more in the weeds of my finances. Not my finances, my business finances. These are not my personal finances. Despite what the finance tracker says, I am not like in debt. I'm fine. Don't start a business if you really need the money right now. That's not legal advice or actual financial advice. It's just me thinking, okay? I showed this in my one of my studio vlogs. I'll link it down below. So we will go over my expenses so far and compare that to what I've made and like what I bought and everything that I need for the business. February, I bought more yarn. One of my next videos will be a Joann yarn haul, and that is all the yarn that I bought that is showing here. If Joann wasn't closing, I probably would not have bought this much yarn, but it is, so I did. I spent $103.01 on yarn in February, and then I spent $7.60 on these cat buttons. These are the ones that I use for my kitty cat's Kindle sleeve. I just wanted to have a special kind of button, so I think it was worth it to have like fun buttons to go with the Kindle sleeve. We'll see, nobody's bought it yet. You can also purchase the pattern if you're interested and can crochet. And so in total, in February, I spent, this will do the math for me, $110.61 on yarn. In March, all I bought for the business was more yarn, and in total I spent $241.73 on more yarn. The yarn wasn't necessarily necessary. I'm hoping it will pay back in full and I will use it for years to come. And like I said in the last video, if all this doesn't work out, I'll just have a lot of yarn. I use yarn, I knit and crochet originally for fun, so I will use it eventually. I'm not gonna be upset about it. So we will bring you over here. I just told you all the expenses, which this spreadsheet does for me. So I give it information from Etsy just so I know how much I've spent in fees and shipping and everything. So this like lays it all out just so I know. Taxes and stuff don't really matter for Etsy because Etsy collects that for me and sends it to the government. But these are the fees I pay Etsy. So in February I paid $13.28 in fees, and in March I spent $10.43. This is the shipping numbers, and then these are the numbers I just showed you. So in total, this revenue is what I showed you. Obviously in March I made less money than I made in February. So in total, I made $206.37 in revenue, which is different from what Etsy said because this includes the taxes that I never saw. That's part of revenue, it's not profit. And with this spreadsheet calculator, it shows my actual profits. So it just deducts my expenses from the revenue, and that gives me my actual profit, which is all negative right now. In total, I've made negative $366.37. Isn't that cool and fun? But really it is. I'm just sharing. I am not gonna say I'm not gonna buy yarn again, but I'm not planning to. I have a couple more expenses that are coming up. Is what it is. You gotta spend money to make money in general for a business. Of course, you can use yarn you have in your stash and everything like that. There's just specific things that I wanted to make, and also, again, because Joann is going out of business, it made me want to like buy up some of the yarn at a lower price, and this way in the future I won't have to for a while. Now that we talked about how I've done in Q1, my main takeaway is I want to work on Etsy search as like a big part of my business. I want this YouTube channel to be part of my business. I don't know if I've ever been clear about that. I'm not currently monetized, but I want to keep posting videos so that I can get monetized and continue sharing everything that I'm sharing with you all. I love making YouTube videos, and now we're talking about my future plans. Hold on. I already talked about Etsy search. We don't need to talk about it for the third time. I also would like to expand my business outside of online. I've been seeing a lot of people have success with vendor events, vending at craft fairs and things like that. So for Q2, I would like to vend at least one time at a craft fair, some kind of event space or whatever. And also I haven't accomplished the goal, but I've already set everything in place to do this goal because I am registered to be at a vendor event in like 2 weeks. So stay tuned for the market vlog and the market prepping vlog. That's kind of my biggest goal, actually, to take my business offline. I hadn't wanted to at first, but I've decided I want to just give myself as many avenues to be successful as possible. And if vending events or vendor events or just events, I guess we could say, is like a successful avenue for me, then I'm more than happy. Or we'll find out if I'm more than happy. Who knows if I'll like it, but I want to give it a try. And to go along with that, I want to crochet more amigurumi. When I started this business, I thought I wasn't going to because it was too samey, but I know that at least for events, it seems like amigurumi, especially made with like plushy yarn, is like a really good seller, especially if there are kids, which I don't know if there will be kids at this event. I hope so, because I'm making a bunch of amigurumi. Not that adults don't also buy it. Adults definitely do buy it, which is why it's such a good seller, I think. But it obviously goes over well with kids. So that's the second goal, to make more amigurumi. The third goal is to release at least one more pattern in the second quarter of the year. Technically, my first pattern release was already in the second quarter of the year, but I was working on it mostly in the first quarter. So I want to do one more in the second quarter. I already have like 3 ideas for a pattern, so I just have to pick one and like spend time making it. But because of the event that I'm doing, I haven't had time. So hopefully after that, just because I'm building up stock, the first part of this business hasn't really been about building up stock. It's been more about making things, and I just take pictures and then I make them as the orders come in, basically. But obviously for an event, you can't do that because you have to have all the stuff in front of you. So that's taking a lot of priority for now. But I do want one more pattern. And my last goal is to have more bigger/medium items. I guess another lesson I learned is that I knew I wasn't the fastest crocheter, but I do think based on what I'm seeing from other people on like Facebook groups and things like that, I might be slower than I thought, which might be not the best for a crochet business. But I want to make more medium-sized items that take like 2 hours to make, because I think that works out the best for my time for money. I haven't discussed pricing really yet. I might talk about it in the next vlog. Or if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I might not be the best person to ask. I might talk more about that in the quarter 2 update, because I'm still figuring it out, especially for real in-person events. But like I was saying, medium-sized objects that are like worth more in the eyes of a buyer, I think, but don't take super long to make, are gonna be like the best like hourly rate for me, because I can charge more because it looks not better. But a keychain, it's hard to get people to pay like $10 for a keychain. Some keychains that I'm planning to make may take me like an hour. So it doesn't really make sense to charge like $5 for something that took me an hour. But the way I crochet, it's kind of like a slow start, I guess, is how it works. Like once I'm in the process, I work faster. So something with like lots of stops and starts, like the smaller items I've been making, end up taking me like the same amount of time as something that is like more rote, I guess, is how I would describe it. Hopefully that made any kind of sense. But yeah, those are my goals for quarter 2. I hope to update you all throughout the year. I'm planning to do at least 3 more quarterly updates, just so we can all see how my first year in business is going, and to keep up like that transparency that I love to see from creators. So I hope you enjoyed seeing it. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments down below, let me know any answers to any questions I may have asked during the vlog, or let me know how your crochet business is doing, or if you don't have one, let me know just how your day is going. Would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.